Hey guys, I am learning to bullet journal. It's kind of a cheat sheet because I have bullet journaled before, only for about 4 months last year. It ended in June. I took a trip in June, so I used it to plan out the whole trip and everything, and then I think by the time I got back I was kind of just like not sure what to do with it anymore. I felt overwhelmed by the fact that my bullet journal was not looking anything like what anyone on Instagram looks like. Now I am actually filming this sit down after I've already finished filling in the bullet journal. I did pretty much everything like basically that I really wanted to do, and then there were a few things that I just have to fill in later. But here's a sneak peek of January. It came out pretty cute, I think. I did sketch out everything in pencil. I did some things that were silly and I just don't know why I did them, but I'll talk about that after you watch all this. So for supplies, I kind of just went off of what I saw other YouTubers who do this get. I kind of just took random suggestions from different people. I'll link below maybe some of the videos if I can find them of where I got suggestions for supplies. I also have my old bullet journal here for reference, and the first thing I'm going to start with is just filling in my name in the midliners. Then I'm kind of just showing some of the penciling in. So I did a lot of penciling off camera, which I realized later was silly, so I tried to record the rest of the penciling in I was doing. This is kind of how I measured things out. I would just go through and make little dots on the dotted pages where I was going to eventually draw lines, because this made it a lot easier. I could not freehand the lines. Even as you see with the penciling, I had to go back and erase and redo things multiple times. I had a hard time with spacing and things like that. I don't know if it's just because I'm a perfectionist or because I don't have much practice with this, but I was having a hard time finding the center every single time. I've seen some people talk about having a grid spacing layout, which I have planned to do, but I don't know if I'm going to end up actually doing it today, because I'm going to need some more help with that. Here I'm just filling in the product usage page, which I'll talk about later. And on the other page I have a bills tracker, which I started last year and it helped me then a little bit, but I barely filled it out, so honestly I don't know if I'm going to keep up with this one. But I put it in here just in case. First things first is the key. This is the first thing I'm going to put in pen. And then I'm moving on to the future log. The future log is where you put all of your future events for the whole year. So if I know today I'm going to go on vacation in April, then I'm going to write that down in April. And then when I come to filling out the monthly spread for April, I'll refer back to my future log and I'll see what I have for April that I need to fill in. Then throughout the week, I can also refer back to my monthly log and fill in what happens each day of the week. These are the Tombow, what are they called? These are the Tombow brush dual tip something markers. I'll link it because honestly I don't know what I'm doing, but somebody suggested them and I liked the pastel colors, so I decided this would be a good one to have. It's the one I feel like I ended up using the most, and the one I think I'll end up using the most in the future as well. Here I have a birthday spread where I'm writing out everybody for the year's birthdays that I need to keep up with, so I can refer back to that when I'm filling out my future log or my monthly logs. I'm also putting in pen my 2019 goals for the year. I have them separated out by personal, school, work, which kind of involves both the YouTube stuff and my acting stuff. And then I also have my health goals and my fun goals. So I know for a fun goal, I want to try and reach 100K on Instagram for followers, just for fun. I mean, it's really not something I care a ton about, but I think it's cool that you guys want to know what I'm up to. Here I'm filling in the product usage page in pen and marker, same with the bills spread. I really don't see myself using the bills spread much, especially because if you can count, which apparently I can't, I only put 11 slots for months of the year for my bills paid. I should have made the far left column where I've written month, paid, and amount about 2 squares smaller so that I could fit an extra 2 square width column later on for December, which I only realized once I was putting it all in pen. I took the January spread that I did on the other page, not this monthly spread I'm filling out now, from the actual book by Ryder Carroll. He has some version of that where you kind of write out the whole month in a singular line and then use it as like bullet points for important things. But I just have too much stuff going on a regular basis that I really like this wide monthly layout. Each box is, I think, 6 squares tall, including that one little line I have for the date, and then 5 squares wide. So if you eliminate that one, then it's 5 by 5, each little day slot. This is enough space for me to keep track of everything. As you can see, I'm constantly going back and forth, doing math, making little ticks on the paper to make it easier to make the lines, driving myself a little bit crazy. And here I realized, holy crap, I might have done all the math wrong. Where did these days line up? Because I thought I measured everything incorrectly, but I think I did it correctly. Yeah, here I'm figuring it out. I'm doing lots of math in my head. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I struggled with trying to keep those things in check. I'm putting a little YouTube tracker here in the bottom left corner of the monthly spread because I want to motivate myself to fill in goals that I have or certain tasks that I want to accomplish for the month. So for January, one of those things being film and edit this video. I decided to put the month of the year up in the corner in this cute little pattern where I was going to draw these cute little stripes. I'm only showing you part of the amount of times I had to erase and redo the word January, which I know how to spell it. It's just for some reason I couldn't do the math in my head to make this last the exact right amount of boxes. But here I think I finally figured it out. Yeah, that's the one where I finally figured it out. And then I'm filling in all the little lines and I'm going to just color those in. So for January, I ended up using a lot of the spreads that I used for last year when I was setting up a bullet journal for the first time, but I only bullet journaled for a few months last year because I just got tired of it because I put too much on my plate. So with this one, I tried to do the bare minimum. I took the things from Ryder Carroll's book, which mostly talk about trying to simplify the process of bullet journaling. It's become really popular and really cool and unique, and I love, just as much as anybody else, looking at all of these spreads on Instagram and on YouTube and these people who come up with these super creative doodles and the look. But that's the thing that hindered me the first time from pursuing bullet journaling because mine just never turned out looking like that and it drove me crazy. So I feel like I've tried to simplify everything, bring it back to the basics of what I read in the book and what was important, such as having a monthly spread, having a weekly spread, and then other than that, only adding in the things that really benefit me because space and time is valuable. I did this little trick which I picked up from someone at some point of watching a bullet journaling video where I filled it in black and then went in with a white gel pen to fill in the date. I thought it looked really cool. Here I'm setting up my habit trackers for this month. Again, when I set up my original habit trackers, I did this full page spread and I filled in as many habits as I possibly could to fill in the whole page and make it look really pretty and artsy when it was all filled out. But I found that I never filled any of it out because it was stressful and because there was so much. And Ryder Carroll in the book, I think, says you should only have, like a few habits that you track at a time. I don't know if he gave the number 4 or if I came up with the number 4, but I decided I was only going to do 4 for January because it's hard to form new habits and to track them. So I tried to make it a little easier on myself, picking habits I knew I could handle, or I thought I could. Some of them still haven't gotten that filled in. On the other side, I'm gonna put in a sleep tracker, which as you can see, I am taking straight off of Pinterest. I really regret doing this sleep tracker the way that I did it, because as you will see, it took me, oh my goodness, I think this actual process took me maybe an hour to fill in every hour for every day. That means writing a 24-hour day out 31 times, which was just insane, but I did not realize what I was getting myself into. This is kind of the only specialty writing I can do, was writing it out big and then writing a cute little cursive version at the bottom. That's something I picked up back in middle school. Again, here I am struggling with the spacing of it all, but I thought it looked cute. It's one of the spreads I think looks the cleanest once it was all done. But I'm also not super used to this whole bullet journaling thing. So I slipped up a lot, especially with writing in these numbers for all of the hours. I really struggled with keeping track of where I was with what number in my head, and I kept having to go back and forth. There were some numbers I wrote wrong and I had to scribble over, and it just wasn't worth it. So I'm gonna try and figure out some better version of doing this at some point. I learned a lot from reading the book about bullet journaling. It gave me a lot of perspective as to why I might have done so badly the first time I tried to bullet journal, such as being too much of a perfectionist and putting too much on my plate. So this month I just did a sleep tracker, 4 habit trackers, and then my monthly spread and my weekly spreads. And that's about it. I did do that completely pointless first page, which don't know why I did that. But I also feel like I did a good job of keeping it simple. So the things I did that did not make any real sense to even me after I was done was, why did I do this page? It's cute, it's pretty, but why did I do it if I'm already gonna have a monthly spread? I learned about bullet journaling from the book written by Ryder Carroll, the guy who created, I guess, bullet journaling or popularized it. I don't know really what he did, but I know he's like the father of bullet journaling. So I learned everything I could from that book, although I did skip a big chunk in the middle because I am just not a self-help book kind of person. I thought I was reading a book that was going to teach me how to bullet journal, and it did for the most part. And some people that might be really, really helpful for them, but for me it was more of like the opposite. Like, I needed this to be an escape. I wanted bullet journaling to be about art and to be about fun and to be about a good way to organize my stuff. I did keep some of the things in mind. The big thing I feel like that I've done that was in the book that I did not do the last time is spending 5 minutes in the morning to bullet journal, where I just sit down and I look at everything. I fill in how many hours I slept last night. I fill in a couple of the little habit trackers maybe if I've already done them that day. And then also spending the same amount of time at night. So for me it's ended up being about 5 minutes. And it's actually been really helpful. At night, I sit down and I write down the things I know I'm gonna have to do the next day, or over the next few days. And then I also make one little note of something that happened that day. And I don't know if this is really something I got from the book or so much something I picked up, like bits and pieces from the book and then did my own thing. I don't really know. But I decided that at the end of every day I would make at least one bullet point about the day, if not a few. I definitely don't think I left enough pages for the index. That was a mistake I made. Oops. I am being a lot more lazy. Like last time I was very adamant about I would not start bullet journaling until I had every single thing filled in exactly how I wanted. Like this spread right here is just still totally empty. Like I need to go in and I need to write the actual movies I want to watch, the TV shows, the books, and finish the empty pages that I left, finish filling those in. But I'm being a little more lax with myself this year, and I think that's going to make it more fun and less about perfection and having it look a certain way and having it be and go a certain way, and more just about this is the journal and I'll fill it in when I get time. Hopefully some of these things help me, and some of them I will learn by the end of the year are completely pointless. I made a product usage spread. This is something I didn't see anywhere else. I've never seen it or heard of it, but I'm sure someone's done it somewhere. But there'll be times when I go to buy a tube of toothpaste And I'm like, do I still have any toothpaste? When did I start that tube of toothpaste? And how long did it take me to finish that tube of toothpaste? Should I buy a new tube of toothpaste if I'm about to leave town and I don't want to take a whole tube of toothpaste? Like, can I finish it in 2 months? Can I finish it in a week? Like, things like that. And then also for cost effectiveness, like knowing, you know, how much I need to budget for the expensive hair care products I've been buying and things like that. So I put it like product name, the type of product, so if it's a shampoo, if it's toothpaste, whatever, the date I started and the date I'll finish. And I'm gonna try and be good about that, for especially the things like the hair care and makeup products and stuff like that. Knowing how often I need to get those things can only be helpful. The last thing I have is just this brain dump and shopping list page, and I did not design those at all. As you can see, it's a blue stripe at the top of the page and the word. And I didn't even try and write fancy. It just is what it is. A big goal of mine is to learn some form of modern calligraphy this year. I also haven't finished filling in any of my goals. I only have my one diabetes goal, which is an A1C of 6.5% or below for the year. I have my endocrinologist appointment tomorrow. I'm gonna get my bubble burst really early, but it will give me something to work on all year. I also don't have anything filled in on my future log at all. Last year, I remember as soon as I started my bullet journal, I was like, oh, I have to remember I'm going here on this date and I'm going here on this date, but with this one, I'm like, I don't know if it's just I don't have a lot going on this year that I've already planned, or if I'm just still being extra lazy. But whatever. So that is what I've got going on. I'll show the final flip through here at the end. But if you guys have any ideas for cool bullet journal spreads, I had a spread last year for cleaning, but I did not even know how it worked. I just copied it straight off of Pinterest. So if you guys have an actual cool, workable cleaning regimen that can be on here, something like that would be really cool. Just any kind of really cool bullet journal spreads and ideas that are realistic, or that you guys want to see someone else try, I can be that person. So send it my way. I hope you enjoyed. I feel like I'm talking to myself, to a camera, and that no one's ever going to watch this, but hopefully at least like a couple people will. And for those couple people who do, please like and comment and tell me what your favorite or least favorite thing is about journaling or about planning and scheduling, because I love it, but I know my boyfriend is not one of those people. So I'd love to hear all the different opinions on it. I have all kinds of really cool ideas for things I want to try out. So subscribe and I'll do my best to get it out for you.